What's up, y'all? It's your girl Mogul, and I don't have anything in particular that I want to say. I have a lot on my mind, but the downloads haven't fully downloaded yet. But I just feel like I should get up on here and let y'all know, like, this page isn't, Renee Radio isn't only for reads, right? I think Renee Radio for me is just a platform where I can attract the collective that is meant to hear what I have to say. Right? And if you have the power to create something like that, if you have the power to attract a collective where of people who understand you, they feel you, they relate to you, they're inspired by you, you guys inspire each other, that's what I encourage everyone to do. And I think maybe that's the point of the message, is like to really step into your authenticity and to not be afraid to just go. Like, you have to keep moving. You're never going to know anything truly until you start, until you experience it, right? Like, you could analysis paralysis your way into everything, but if you don't have the experience, if you're not putting yourself in the ring of fire, and, you know, going to experience, attempting to experience new things and new circumstances and putting yourself in that confirmation, in that vulnerable beginner state, again, for our creatives, with your voice is your superpower. Every time I get up on here and start to talk about authenticity and self-expression, I got a burp. It's like my voice, my throat is, but I feel like that's the message, right? And even with me and Renee Radio, my whole life, I just felt a little different. And it's because I had things that I was unaware of my entire life. It's not like I just developed psychic abilities. It's not like I just developed my spiritual gifts. I've had them. I just wasn't aware. And so awareness can change a lot of things, right? And I think for this collective, you're now stepping into your own power and potential. Because it's like, I'm getting the vibe for a long time. That's the message that has been consistently in all my readings, is like you've been dimming your light. And not only for my personal readings, but for, you know, the collective. And I mentioned Renee Radio. This is just a platform where it's like I can just be my most authentic self. You know, I'm a talker. Like, I'm a certified yapper. And this platform is for me to showcase everything that I can do, everything that I love, all balled up into the form of communication. How can I communicate what makes me happiest the best? In what ways can I communicate my happiness and my joy? And how can I share that with others through communication, through my creative processes, through all of the things that I'm working on? How can I do that? And God keeps bringing it back to my voice. God keeps telling me, like, you need to get in front of this camera, you need to get seen, and you need to talk. And so I had this download today in the car where it was like, you know what? I'm not gonna put myself in a box. And I feel like this is a collective where you've boxed yourself in for so long because you've been trying to fit a mold that you were placed in, but it wasn't your fault that you were placed into these environments. But as you're growing up, as you're continuing to mature and step out into the real world and experience environments that you've actually placed yourself in, environments that you want to be in, you're starting to rediscover parts that you've kept hidden. You know, like we said in the first video, it's like you've been living in your shadow up until this point. Up until recently, you're starting to understand your own magic. And I got this download the other day, and it was talking about, like, I have no interest in saving anyone anymore. Just because I know the truth doesn't mean that I'm obligated to try and play superhero and save people who I can clearly see need the truth in their life. Like, you could have been someone where it's like you're tired of being around people who complain. You're tired of being around people who are always talking about someone doing something to them. And I was talking to Kenny, he's talking about I'm just tired of hearing people tell me what someone did to them and they're clearly wrong. Like, it's like when you get to a level of personal development in spiritualism within yourself, you don't want to be around people who are actively complaining and are actively being in victim mode, who are comfortable being in victim mode. And I realized, like, a lot of the friendship I used to have, a lot of the connections I used to have, we thrived off of negativity. We thrived off of complaining about our lives to each other. Oh yeah, this nigga did me wrong. This girl talking about this, they doing this, they doing that. And we're thriving off of negativity. And it's like, you're moving past that. You're stepping out of that box. You're breaking out of that mold. And it can be very uncomfortable. You have to accept that life growing up, 444 on my clock, you have to accept that life and growing up, being uncomfortable is a part of the process. You will be uncomfortable in any situation that is new to you, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that it's a bad thing that you're feeling the discomfort. Discomfort oftentimes is linked to growth, massive growth. But if you always feel the discomfort and you label it as, oh, I'm heading in the wrong direction, I'm doing something bad, maybe I shouldn't feel like this, maybe it would feel differently if no, embrace the discomfort, right? Like, you have to embrace it. And I keep going off tangent trying to talk about Renee Radio, but it's like, Renee Radio is just this, it's a place where I want to be able to just be my most authentic self and have a collective that sees me for me, hears me for me, and I'm able to do the same right back with them. You know, I want to create my own community of people who hear me, who are on that frequency, who understand the language I'm speaking. And I love that for me, because I'm taking charge. I'm stepping into that leadership position that God has ordained me to be. Like, I talked about it yesterday, like, you're fearing something that you feel like you're unqualified for, or you're uncomfortable to, you're just uncomfortable, you're feeling this discomfort in relation to this new life that you're asking for, and you're feeling unqualified when you feel yourself about to receive this new life. But it's like, you asked for this. You can't be unqualified. There are people who walk into rooms unqualified, but when they get the job and they step into the role and they gain the experience, like we talked about in the beginning, and they actually put themselves out there, even if they feel unqualified, they get in the position, that's when they gain the experience, and that's when they become qualified. Not everyone who is in a position that they have right now was qualified to start. But you have to give yourself grace from being a beginner. I got my Cricut machine. If you don't know a Cricut machine, it's like a cutter for vinyl, because I'm starting my clothing brand. A long story with that. Maybe I'm telling a story for a reason, someone can relate, but in starting new things, it's not gonna be easy, especially if you've never done it before. It's not gonna be easy. It's never gonna be easy, but you will never know until you try. I literally could not, for the life of me, figure out how to work this Cricut machine. How could it cut my vinyl? Maybe I got the wrong vinyl. Today, I figured out how to do it because I had the courage to go to the store where I got the vinyl, go ask the people, how does this work? Can you please show me how this works? YouTube is great, but I'm a visual learner. And if you know how this works, can you please help me? And then in me being brave enough to do that, I was able to get my finished result, learn how to make my Cricut machine. And not only did I figure out how to make my machine today, I found someone who can manufacture my shirts, because that is a whole different story. Long story short, this dude who was originally going to do my shirts, we ended up, just wasn't in alignment at the time. I was walking out of the wholesale store this morning. I'm in the parking lot about to leave, and I'm like, no, I need to ask her another question because I'm unsure how to do this myself. Again, be brave and be bold enough to put yourself out there. That was scary for me. I just left talking to her. So I'm like, damn, I want her to think like, I don't know. It's just like us humans, we get in the way of how we feel. I needed something done. And in every single moment of your life, you need to start asking yourself, am I taking advantage of this situation? Am I winning in this situation? Am I getting what I want? You deserve to get what you want. And what I wanted in that moment was to learn how my machine worked. The machine that I bought, I wanted to learn how it worked. So I took my ass right back in the wholesale shop and I asked her my question. And as I'm walking out, I see Ali, he's standing, and I'm like, I think that's Ali. And I go up to him and I'm like, hey, do you remember me? And he was like, oh yeah, I remember you. And we were talking, and people are trying to charge me an arm and a leg to do these designs that I want. And I only have a couple shirts. And, I asked him, because finally I'm like, you know what, this, of course, the design that I want is super hard and complex to do. I was going to do it myself, but I'm really skeptical. I'm skeptical about paying someone to do work for me, because the last time I paid a dude to do my work, it was a waste of money. He bullshitted with my time, and I'm scared. I'm running out of time. I need to mail these shirts out. And he goes, oh, for sure. He gave me a discount, and he was like, I appreciate you for remembering me. Like, I can't believe, I'm glad that you remember me. And I was like, of course, because when we were dealing with each other, he looked out for me. He couldn't handle the shirts that I needed, so he called one of his friends and put me on with him, and I was able to get my sample shirt through someone that he knew. So obviously that's just going to show you what it is like when you're brave about what it is that you want. You have to be bold about what it is that you want. You got to go in and don't be afraid to use your voice. Speak up. I could have easily been like, oh, that's Ali, I'm not sure, and just kept walking. But it was by chance that I saw him, and God, I told God on the way here, I'm like, God, I need to find someone to make my shirts, or I need to just figure out how to make my shirts myself, please. And I woke up so irritated this morning because I didn't get no sleep last night. It's like my brain just couldn't shut off. And I'm just, whenever I don't get sleep, I'm so irritated because I value my sleep. And I know when I get good sleep, I'm a different person when I wake up. And so I was pissed off this morning. And I think that energy, I just channeled it, I alchemized it to work for my good. And I ended up running into him because, like I said, I left the wholesale store. I was in the parking lot. It was not only until I came back in that he was at the register that I just came from. And I didn't even see him when I was in the store for the first time. So it's like, that's nothing but God. That's nothing but me being on my vibration, knowing that and just trusting that everything is going to work out in my favor. And it did. And that's just a testament of faith and how you need faith in order to, continue. You need faith in order to go on in this life. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do it by yourself. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to speak up and get what you want. Don't be afraid to ask what you want, and don't be afraid to receive what it is that you're asking for, because this collective asks for a lot. You talk to God about a lot. You talk to yourself about a lot. You have big dreams. You have big goals, and those goals don't have to be dreams anymore. Those dreams don't have to be fantasies anymore. If you keep going and you keep putting in the work to get what it is that you want, eventually you'll learn how to make you'll learn how to work the Cricut machine. You'll learn how to make the Cricut machine eventually. But I wouldn't have learned how to make how to work my Cricut machine if I didn't keep trying. If I didn't keep trying and failing and trying and failing until finally I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing. You see what I'm saying? I'm mogul money bags. I gotta figure it out. I always gotta figure it out. You gotta give yourself grace for being a beginner, because all experts were beginners at a point in time. You're ready for it. You're more ready than you think you are. And I don't even know what it is that you're asking for, but I know it's big because this collective is ambitious, super ambitious. And there's no thing, throat chakra again. Oh my God. It's our voice, your voice. You have to speak up. And I keep going back to Renee Radio. This is the platform where I just want a collective of people where they can feel safe and they feel like they have someone who they can relate to. They have someone who they're inspired by. Because I have every intention to get everything on this board, everything. 1212 on my clock, everything. This is a collective that sets goals. Not only do we set goals, we make that shit happen. Because we claim our happiness freely. And this is also just a platform for me to just be my most authentic self in any way, shape, or form. It's Renee Radio. It's not your average radio. Again, we're releasing soul patterns. This 1, 2, 3 on my clock, this collective, we're doing the inner work. We're doing the inner healing to get what it is that we want, because this collective has a higher level of awareness. We have a higher level of understanding in relation to the way our mind works, what we're thinking, and what we're experiencing in our life. It's like our past generations, they only had the connection with the physical. It's like they might have had a connection with source, but it was spotty. This generation, this collective, it's like our connection with source is so great and it's so direct. It's like unreal. We had no choice. It was inevitable for us to heal the generational wounds in this lifetime. It was inevitable. We had to do it. And I keep going off tangent in relation to Renee Radio. At the end of the day, it's night. Renee Radio is a place where I broadcast my spirituality, my personal development, me as a person, my growth, everything. It's where I just show you that I'm a real human being and I go through shit too, and I'm vulnerable. It's just a place where I can be vulnerable and I can share my stuff and I can feel safe claiming my happiness, because doing stuff like this makes me happy. Talking makes me happy. I'm a certified yapper. I'm Jay Renee. And I've had multiple comments where people are like, I could just listen to you talk all day. I've had people in real life tell me I could listen to you talk all day. And that's not a coincidence, and it's confirmation. You need to stop. Earlier this week, you know what, before I even get on to that, basically this is a place where I showcase and broadcast all of that. And readings are just a part of what I do. It's a part of attracting in my collective. So you understand that my connection with source is intricate, and I'm able to see and feel what it is that you're experiencing without even seeing or knowing who you are. That's how interconnected we are, because we're all consciousness. And I want you guys to all know that. And this is just a place for, it's not always going to be readings. It's not always going to be like this. Sometimes I just might get up on here and talk. This is going to be for the people who just like to hear me talk. You know what I mean? Prop me up, eat your food, prop me up, go to the gym, do whatever. It's just, I want you to feel like you have a friend in this game of life. Even if you don't know me, even if you never met me, 1444, don't be so serious. This channel it's not serious. Of course, I'm serious. I'm Jay Renee. You know, I take life serious. Life is very serious. It's life or death every day. But have fun. Celebrate the days that, you know, aren't looking too good for you, that don't feel too good. Because even then, that's a part of being a human. You're not always gonna have good days. You're not always gonna be super happy-go-lucky. Some days it's gonna be like, ugh. But that's also a part of being an adult, growing up, 15, longing for home. What did I say? Like, this is a collective where it's like we've always felt different. We've been longing for a place, feeling like we belong. We're tired of labeling ourselves and putting ourselves in boxes. This is where you can come and just share your story in the comments. Share what you're going through right now in the comments. Trust, if no one else sees it, I'll see it. You know what I mean? We don't act Hollywood around here. It's all coming together. We've been saying this though. Everything. Soul tribe. Like everything. We already know. And if this is the root. Yep. What did I say? We're breaking patterns, this collective. We're breaking the chain. We're releasing ancestral patterns. We're rewriting the future. Every time you meditate, every time you make the decision to be present and stay and hold steady with your frequency, and if every time you make the decision to be grateful in the present moment, you're actively rewriting the future for future generations. Actively. How are you being called to step up and lead? I'll tell you how you're being called to step up and lead. You're being called to step up and take charge. 1616. You're being called to step up and take charge of your life by taking control of your thoughts, by getting grounded in the present moment, by realizing that hello, I'm already on this initiation passage. I've already decided in this lifetime that I'm going to complete everything that it is that I want. Because I know that my guidance is it's divinely guided. I know that my connection with source is different and it's the truth. We're the type of collective where it's like, I'm the truth and I still believe nobody. I'm the truth. You don't got to tell me what it is. This is the collective. We're waking up to our own power and how powerful and potent our frequency can be when we keep our power to ourselves, when we don't just give our power away freely, when we just don't give out advice freely, when we just don't spread the truth easily just because we feel like this person is ready to receive it. If someone is ready to receive your word, if someone is ready to receive your truth, trust and believe they will ask you for it. But until someone asks you to be that truth talker in their life, 1717, until someone asks you to share the wisdom that you know is the truth, keep it to yourself and understand that everyone is on their own journey. Everyone is on their own journey. Letting go of ego. We're letting go of the ego in our life. And honestly, it's not even about letting go of an ego. It's about finding balance within your ego. Because at the end of the day, bro, like, you need an ego to survive. I'm sorry. Again, keep pulling the separation card in relation to the love and in relation to you feeling about your future. You're feeling this separation from your future. You might be feeling like, damn, I'm feeling right within, but my reality is still a kind of walkie, like it's not lined up with how I'm feeling internally. And it's because you need to give things time. What did we pull in the last reading? The clock. You have to accept that, yeah, your frequency is aligned, but you need to do some more introspection. You got to ask yourself, why are you continuing to allow your reality to validate your thoughts instead of allowing your way of thinking to validate what it is that you're experiencing in your reality? Because you could be experiencing happy, peaceful, graceful thoughts, but then one day it's like you feel like the world is happening to you and not for you. And that's just because your old frequency is catching up. It feels you pulling away. It feels you rising up. And I don't know if you saw that TikTok video, but it's like, it was the dad talking to the daughter, and he was like, he had her stand on a stool and he goes, you see how I'm trying to pull you down, and it's easier for me to pull you down. Now pull me up. And it's harder for you to pull me up, but it's easy for someone to pull you down. So when you vibrate, when you're a dominant frequency, when you have the dominant frequency in a lot of your relationships, when you walk around with high vibe, a lot of people are going to try and pull you down. You're going to feel triggered by certain situations because it is old frequency feeling you pulling up. It's feeling you going up. It's feeling you going up, and it's going to do its best to try and pull you back down. And it's going to be easy for it too, because all you have to do is react. But like we said, we're being non-reactive. We're becoming less reactive to our situations, and we're learning how to just let life flow. We're learning how to let time be the answer of all. We're letting go of the karmic relationships. See, we're letting go. We're letting go of the golden. This is a big, like, letting go energy. Remember, throat chakra. I'm telling you, someone you were with, like, it was like someone you were with in the past. Like, maybe someone you were with in the past could have, like, uplifted you for some things, uplifted you. Maybe could have been like, oh, I love when you talk, I love the way you speak, you know, could have uplifted you. Maybe, oh, I love the way you sing, I love how you, maybe just could have uplifted you, and then in the same breath kind of tear you down, right? In relation to your communication, in relation to your self-expression and your authenticity. But 222, you're finding out that, like, everything is projection. And the last time when people made me feel bad for doing things that I liked, for communicating how I felt, when people just made me feel bad for wanting answers out of certain relationships, out of certain situations, you're realizing that, like, that was a reflection of how they felt about themselves. It had nothing to do with me. They just couldn't meet me where I was at. I was too much of a dominant I was too much of a dominant frequency in the connection. And they were trying to pull me down, but I wasn't going because I was already up. I was trying to pull them up. Whole time they're trying to pull you down. Like, and you're realizing, you're realizing the one-sidedness of this relationship. You're realizing how one-sided this relationship actually was. You're letting go of the delusions that were in your head. You know what I mean? You're letting go. Yeah, because you're stepping into a new phase, the Phoenix. You're stepping into a new phase of renewal and transformation and growth. You changed your mind about a situation, which is now causing all of these newer thoughts to trickle down into your reality. These newer, more empowering thoughts. These thoughts filled with self-worth. And these more ambitious thoughts, you're now starting to embrace the sides of you that you've repressed for so long, and it's starting to feel good. And now you might be coming up with these emotions and these feelings of maybe like a little bit of sadness for your past self. Like, aw, like you really went for that. Like you really allowed this person to deal with you like that. You really allowed this person to talk to you like that. You really allowed this person to treat you like that. But then stepping back into it and regathering your thoughts and your emotions and claiming it fully as, this is something that I had to go through this is something I had to go through on my journey, and I love that for her because it made me the person I am today. I feel like that's how you're starting to reframe all of the disappointments and the past hurt in your life as, I had to go through that. Evolve, the first four letters, love, backwards. So I had to experience that type of evolution because what was going to come of it, the only thing that could have come from it was love. And it did, because you're here now truly founding. You're truly founding, interesting. You're truly building the foundation for love within yourself, which is why, like I said in the last video, the only thing that you can attract now is pure love, because that is what you have built within yourself. Heavy, deep. Told y'all I didn't know what I was gonna say, but it found me, and the cards found me. I use the cards because I like the cards validate my connection with source. You know how sometimes if you can have a really strong connection with source, but sometimes your human side kicks in, like, was that a coincidence? Like, was that a synchronicity? That a coincidence? God told me yesterday, you have all three. You don't have clairvoyance and clairaudience. You have clairvoyance, clairaudience, and claircognizance. And I said, oh, great, thanks. Just another thing, another voice to keep me up at night. Thanks, need that. But yeah, embrace yourself. Start to embrace yourself. Start to love yourself. And it's not even like you need to start because you're actively doing this. You even sitting here taking the time to watch me, and I hope that, you know, it's empowering you to be the best version of yourself. 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope that all you do is leave this video feeling more love and feeling uplifted and just feeling gratitude, because I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for everyone who was watching me in the beginning, because we're going to take off, and this is going to be the collective of all collectives, because my energy is so strong, and I'm just waiting for that period where I'm in my own vortex and I'm attracting the collective that I need to attract in, and I'm attracting the people who are aligned with me and who need to hear what I have to say, because God wants me here for a reason, and God wanted me to start over from scratch to show y'all, when you truly believe that you can get something and God tells you that it's for you, it's absolutely for you. So stick with me. You know, it's your girl. I'm here. I love you. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video. Make good decisions and be smart.